Hey everyone, before I dive into this story, let me share a moment that broke my heart wide open. For 10 years, I thought I knew my husband, the man I laughed with, cried with, built my whole world around. I believed our love was a safe place, a promise we'd never break. Then, one afternoon, a single truth tore that world apart, leaving me to pick up the pieces of a life I didn't recognize. What happened next wasn't about rage or revenge. It was about finding the courage to love myself again, to stand tall when everything I trusted crumbled. Stick with me, because this story is raw, real, and will hit you right in the soul. Drop a comment to let me know where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This one's going to stay with you. My name is Laura Mitchell. I'm 36, a high school English teacher in Asheville, North Carolina, living in a cozy craftsman home with a wraparound porch and a backyard bursting with wildflowers that sway like a promise every summer. I'm not one for the spotlight. I find peace in quiet moments, like grading essays with chamomile tea or hosting potlucks for my book club. But if there's one thing that's always defined me, it's my love for family. Growing up in Asheville, I watched my parents weave a life of warmth. Mom baking pies, her kitchen alive with cinnamon and laughter. Dad strumming his guitar, singing about love that endures. That's the life I dreamed of, and when I met Ethan at 25, I thought I'd found it. Ethan was my rock, with a steady smile and a heart that felt like home. We met at a farmer's market, sharing a basket of peaches, and by our third date, I knew he was my forever. We married a year later, under the Blue Ridge Mountains, vowing to face every storm together. For 10 years, we built a life, buying our home, hiking the Appalachian Trail, dreaming of kids we'd raise with love and laughter. Every year, we hosted a family dinner to celebrate our milestones, setting the table with Mom's old china, Ethan carving the roast, his voice warm as he toasted to us. But last spring, a truth hidden in a simple cake shattered everything I believed in. Our marriage wasn't perfect, but I thought it was honest. Ethan, a financial advisor, traveled for work, but he always came home with stories and a kiss that promised forever. I kept our life glowing, cooking dinners, planning adventures, teaching my students with passion. I'd tuck notes in Ethan's briefcase, little whispers of love, and he'd bring me wildflower bouquets, tied with twine, echoing our wedding day. But a year ago, something shifted. Ethan grew quiet, his eyes shadowed. He'd linger at the office, his phone locked, a new wall between us. "Just work, Laura," he'd say when I asked, his voice clipped. "Don't make it a thing." I tried not to. I told myself it was pressure. His firm was growing, clients demanding more. But the distance deepened. He'd skip our book club nights, cancel hikes, and brush me off when I reached for him. "You're always in my space," he snapped once, his words slicing through me. I swallowed my pain, blaming myself for pushing too hard, and poured my heart into our home, polishing Mom's china, baking his favorite apple pie, hoping to bring him back. But the cracks kept spreading, and I felt him slipping away. Last March, as our 10th anniversary loomed, I planned a family dinner to reconnect, to remind us of our love. I invited our dearest friends, Kate, my book club soulmate, Mark, Ethan's college friend, and Lisa, our neighbor who adored my pies. I wanted this night to heal us. But a week before, Ethan was secretive, taking calls in the garage, his voice hushed. I found a receipt in his pocket, $50 for a Lego set from a toy store. We had no kids, and no birthdays were coming up. "What's this?" I asked, holding it up. His face tightened, and he snatched it away. "For a client's kid," he said, his eyes avoiding mine. "Stop digging, Laura." His tone stung, but I let it go, the knot in my stomach growing. The day of the dinner, I threw myself into preparations, roasting a chicken, setting the table with Mom's china, tying wildflower bouquets for each guest. I wore a navy dress, my hair loose, hoping Ethan would see me. Really see me. He came home late, distracted, barely noticing the table. "Nice," he mumbled, heading to the garage, phone in hand. I pushed down my hurt, welcoming our friends, their laughter filling the house, the smell of chicken and pie weaving through the air. But Ethan was distant, checking his phone, his mind elsewhere. Kate caught my eye, her brow furrowed, but I smiled, pretending all was well. After dinner, Lisa mentioned she needed a birthday cake for her nephew's party the next day. "The bakery's open," she said. "I'll grab it." I offered to go along, craving a moment away from Ethan's coldness. We drove to the local bakery, the spring air cool through the windows, chatting about books. At the counter, Lisa pointed to a chocolate cake with blue balloons. "That's the one," she said. The baker handed it over, and I saw the icing. "Happy 7th birthday, Tommy. Love you, Dad." My heart stopped. Lisa laughed, confused. "Wrong cake. My nephew's not Tommy." But I knew. Ethan's middle name was Thomas. The Lego receipt flashed in my mind. "Laura, you okay?" Lisa asked, her voice distant. I nodded, my hand shaking, and paid for the cake, my voice hollow. "Let's take it," I said. "I need answers." We drove back in silence, the cake heavy in my lap, the words, "Love you, Dad," searing into me. At home, friends were chatting, but Ethan was in the garage, on the phone. I walked in, the cake trembling in my hands, my voice breaking. "Ethan, who's Tommy?" I demanded, pointing to the icing. "Why does he call you Dad?" He froze, his phone slipping, his face ashen. "Laura," he whispered, "I can explain." "Explain?" I cried, tears streaming. 10 years, Ethan, 10 years of us, and you have a son you never told me about?" My voice cracked, the garage spinning. "Who is he? Who's his mother?" He sank to the floor, his head in his hands. "Tommy's 7, he said, his voice barely audible. "His mom, Rachel. It was before you. I didn't know how to tell you." I set the cake down, the wildflower bouquets blurring through my tears. "You lied to me," I sobbed. "Every day, every vow, every time you said you loved me. You built a life with someone else and left me in the dark." I stumbled out, past our friends, past Mom's china, and collapsed on the porch, the wildflowers swaying in the dark, my heart in pieces. I didn't sleep that night, curled on the porch swing, the creak of the chains a steady rhythm against my sobs. I clutched a wildflower bouquet, its petals wilting in my hands as the truth sank in. Ethan hadn't just kept a secret. He'd lived a double life, hiding a son, a mother, a bond I'd never known. I thought about Tommy, a boy who called my husband Dad, and Rachel, a woman who shared a piece of him I'd never touched. I could have run, screamed, erased him from my life. But as the sun rose, painting the wildflowers gold, I heard Mom's voice in my heart. "Love doesn't destroy you, Laura. It builds you stronger." I couldn't let this betrayal define me. I had to face it, not with anger, but with courage, to reclaim the woman I was. So, I decided to host a family summit, a gathering not to punish Ethan, but to bring the truth into the light, to sit with him, Tommy, Rachel, and our loved ones, and decide my path forward. I wanted to honor my strength, my love, surrounded by those who saw me whole. The next morning, I sat at my kitchen table, a cold cup of tea trembling in my hands, and started planning. I rented a private room at a community center, its warm wood walls and mountain views a quiet sanctuary. I made a list: potluck dishes, iced tea with lemon, wildflower centerpieces, and a playlist of folk songs, Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan, that felt like my soul. I called the people who'd carried me through life: Kate, my book club rock; Mark, Ethan's oldest friend; and my sister Claire, who'd held me when Dad died. I faced Ethan that evening, my voice steady despite the ache in my chest. "I'm hosting a summit this weekend," I said, my eyes locked on his. "You, me, Tommy, Rachel, our family, our friends, we're facing this, every piece of it. If you love me, you'll be there." His face crumpled, tears falling. "Laura, I'm so sorry," he whispered, reaching for me. "I was terrified you'd hate me." I stepped back, my heart raw. "I don't hate you," I said, my voice breaking. "But I hate the lies. You broke us, Ethan. Show up or let me go." He nodded, his voice choked. "I'll call Rachel. I'll be there. I owe you everything." I spent the week preparing, cooking Mom's apple pie until the kitchen smelled of cinnamon and hope, roasting vegetables, baking cornbread. I set up the room with Mom's china, wildflower bouquets, and a framed photo of our wedding day, its edges worn but steady. I wore a green dress, a wildflower tucked in my hair, a symbol of my resilience. The summit was set for Saturday afternoon, the mountains glowing under a spring sky. I stood in the room, my heart pounding as guests arrived. Kate brought her mac and cheese, her hug fierce. "You're a warrior, Laura," she whispered. Mark carried iced tea, his eyes kind. "You've got this," he said. Claire squeezed my hand, her voice soft. "I'm so proud of you, sis." Then Ethan arrived, his face drawn, with Rachel, a woman with tired eyes and a nervous smile, and Tommy, a small boy with Ethan's nose, clutching a Lego spaceship. My breath caught, but I knelt down, smiling. "Hi, Tommy," I said, my voice warm. "I'm Laura. That spaceship's awesome." He grinned, shy, and my heart twisted for the boy caught in this storm. As we sat, I stood, my voice trembling but strong. "Thank you for being here," I said, looking at Ethan, Rachel, Tommy, my friends. I found out Ethan has a son, Tommy, a secret he kept for 10 years. It broke my heart, but I'm here to face it, not to fight, but to understand, to choose my path. I'm here for me, for the love I deserve. Ethan's voice broke the silence, thick with tears. "Laura, I'm so sorry," he said, his eyes on me. "I met Rachel before you, a short relationship. Tommy was a surprise, and I thought hiding him would protect you, protect us. I was wrong. I've been a coward, and I've hurt the woman I love most." Rachel spoke, her voice soft, shaking. "I never meant to hurt you, Laura. I raised Tommy alone, with Ethan's visits. I should have pushed for honesty." Tommy looked up, confused, and I smiled at him, my heart aching. Kate spoke, her voice fierce. "Laura, you're the strongest person I know. You've loved us all, and we love you back." Claire added, tears falling. "You're my hero, sis. You're enough." I didn't break. I listened, asked questions, my voice steady. "Ethan, why didn't you trust me?" I asked, tears spilling. "I would have loved Tommy, would have built a life with him. Why did you choose lies?" He sobbed, his voice raw. "I was scared you'd leave, Laura. You're my world. I thought I could keep it separate, but I broke everything." I nodded, the truth heavy but clear. My friends shared stories. Kate about how I'd inspired her teaching. Mark about my kindness. Claire about my strength. Their words wrapped around me, a lifeline. As we ended, Tommy ran to me, offering a Lego piece. "For you, Miss Laura," he said, his smile bright. I took it, my heart full, and knew I'd done it. I'd faced the secret with love, not hate, surrounded by those who saw me. The next morning, Ethan found me in the kitchen, washing Mom's china, the smell of coffee steadying me. "Laura," he said, his voice raw. "I don't know how to say I'm sorry enough. I broke your heart, our life. I love you, and I'll do anything to fix this." I set down a plate, the wildflower in my hair, a quiet anchor, and faced him, my eyes wet but firm. "Ethan, you didn't just hide a son," I said, my voice trembling. "You hid a life, a truth I deserved. Every time I set this table, every time I loved you, I was giving you my whole heart, and you gave me half of yours." He sank into a chair, tears streaming. "I know," he sobbed. "I was so scared of losing you, I thought hiding Tommy was the answer. But seeing you yesterday, so brave, so honest, you're everything I'm not. I don't deserve you, but I want to try, Laura. Please, let me try." I crossed my arms, my heart torn between love and pain. "I don't know if I can trust you again," I said, my voice breaking. "You chose lies for 10 years, Ethan. I deserved your truth, your whole heart. I'm not the same woman who waited for you. I'm choosing me now." His face crumpled, his voice a whisper. "I see that," he said. "You're stronger than I ever knew. I want to earn you back. Therapy, honesty, time. And I want you to know Tommy. He's innocent, and he'd love you." I thought of Tommy's smile, his Lego gift, and softened, but my resolve held. "I want to know him," I said, tears falling. "He's not the problem, you are. If we try, it's slow, it's honest, and it's not promised. I'm not waiting for you to fix this. I'm living my life." He nodded, his eyes desperate but grateful. "I'll do the work," he said, his voice cracking. "I love you, Laura. I always will." He left, the door closing softly, and I stood in the kitchen, the silence heavy but not suffocating. Over the next weeks, I leaned on my community. Kate sent a text. "You're a force, Laura." That summit was everything. Claire mailed a wildflower wreath, writing, "You're blooming, sis." Mark called, saying, "You showed us what love looks like. Fierce, honest." Each message was a lifeline. Ethan started therapy, arranging a park meeting with Tommy, who showed me his Lego creations, his chatter warming my heart. Rachel texted, thanking me for my grace, promising to respect my space. But Ethan and I were cautious. Texts, not talks, space to heal. One evening, Kate's daughter Lily gave me a drawing of me with a wildflower crown. "You're so strong, Miss Laura," it read. I pinned it to my fridge, tears falling, a reminder of the love I'd built. My book club threw a new beginnings potluck, where we laughed over pie and toasted to resilience. The wildflowers in my garden grew wilder, their colors a mirror of my heart. 4 months later, Ethan asked to meet. We sat at a coffee shop, the smell of roasted beans sharp, the wildflower pin on my jacket, a steady reminder of my strength. He looked worn, but clear, like he was finally facing himself. "Laura," he said, his voice thick, "I've been in therapy, digging into why I lied, why I hurt you. I was selfish, scared, and I broke the best thing in my life. I want to earn you back, and I want Tommy to know you, the real you." I studied him, my heart soft but guarded. "Ethan," I said, tears in my eyes, "I loved you with everything I had. I would have loved Tommy, built a life with him if you trusted me. I'm open to trying, slowly, honestly. But I'm not the same Laura. I'm not waiting for you to complete me. I'm whole." He reached for my hand, his eyes wet. I see that, he said, his voice breaking. You're incredible, Laura. I don't deserve you, but I'll spend my life trying to. Thank you for giving me a chance. I squeezed his hand, a small bridge, and smiled. It's not a promise, I said. It's a start. We began with small steps. Park days with Tommy, who called me Miss Laura, and built Lego castles. Dinners where Ethan shared his fears, his growth. Moments where we laughed, fragile but real. Tommy became a joy, his innocence healing us both, and I loved him not as a duty, but as a gift. That cake, that secret, shattered me, but it also set me free. It taught me that love isn't just vows, it's truth, courage, choosing yourself when someone else chooses lies. I stood up for Laura, not to break Ethan, but to honor the woman who bakes pies, teaches kids, and grows wildflowers that bloom through any storm. As I sit here now, Mom's china gleaming on the shelf, I feel her whispering, "You're enough, Laura. You always were." This story isn't just mine. It's for anyone who's faced a secret, who's felt their heart crack, but chose to rise, to bloom. Share your story in the comments. How did you find your strength after a betrayal? Your voice matters. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you in the next story.